think everybody's here. We want to get started. Fantastic. Okay, well, thanks everybody for coming. My name is Stuart Crane. I'm the co-founder of SurveyLine, and with my partner Paul Cornwell, and we're going to kind of tag team this presentation today here. I think we only have like 22 or 23 minutes, so I may go a little fast on some of these slides, but we're going to show you some neat stuff, and we're going to talk to you about engaging users with voice. I mean, we've got voice, and we want to engage the users, and so what we would like to use voice for is a use case that we've come up with, a compelling use case, which is the collection of data. And that's pretty broad, the collection of data. That's a lot of things there. And so what are we talking about specifically? Well, what about surveys and getting feedback and polls, or really any voice interaction that you want to have with your customers, your audience. And so this is an application of voice, collecting data, getting surveys and feedback that really applies to all the different industries. I know people are from all different areas here today, but really small businesses, agencies, marketers, brands. I mean, even healthcare. I'm going to be in Boston next week at the Voice of the Healthcare conference, and that's we're talking to companies about patient satisfaction surveys and drug clinical questionnaires and so forth, nonprofits. So there's a lot of applications for collecting data, with voice, and we want to focus really in on those surveys and so forth. So let's talk about customer feedback in general. There's a lot of ways you can get customer feedback. So I just threw this, slide up there. It's all different ways. Nothing fancy there, but let's go back to kind of collecting data the old-fashioned way. If you remember back in the day, the best way, or the way a lot of companies and organizations would collect data is with pen and paper. You got a clipboard, you got a pencil, and that's how you collected data, right? I mean, that's the old-fashioned way. Here's another old-fashioned way. You have telemarketers calling people on the phone, and they would interrupt you at dinner, right? And that's the old-fashioned way. Now you might say, well, wait a second, Stuart. They've got a microphone, they've got headsets. That's voice. Well, no, it's not really voice, because they're talking to you and they're a real person. And then when they know that, what are they doing? They're doing this. They're entering that information into a screen, not this screen necessarily exactly. This is just an example. And if you guys worked in the business world for any time, you've probably seen these types of screens or used them on a day-to-day basis to do some of your work. And so these are old ways of collecting data. Now, can we collect all that data? Maybe that's healthcare data, let's say, by voice. Probably not. But we want to see how we can collect data by voice and get it in there. So now, what are we moving to, or what have we moved to as a way of a method of collecting data? This is kind of the current most popular ways. And what are these? These are like a desktop computer, a tablet, a laptop. And then the biggie of all that everybody's now using is obviously your mobile phone, your smartphone. And you get surveys to your phone, and you basically are entering this information and trying to collect data in all these different ways here. So what about voice? I mean, that's why we're all here, is voice. Well, if you think about it, the IVR has been around since the 70s. So really, in terms of collecting data by voice, it's not like it's brand new and it's never been done before. It's actually been done since the 70s and 80s. IVR, interactive voice response, you're probably familiar with getting on a call with a cable company or a customer support rep and say, stay on the line and give us your feedback about the call or whatever. So that is an IVR. So this is kind of a flow that a company that has an IVR system could put together and collect data by voice. Okay, so we actually have a situation where we're collecting data by voice, but nobody really takes these. Who takes the IVR based surveys over the phone anymore? I mean, once in a while somebody might do it, but really they're fading away and you don't see it much, and it's not a really good experience, is it? You have this robot on the phone, and it's not that good. So what we're saying is voice, in terms of collecting data, is actually not that new. It's been around. But what's cool is voice assistants and voice platforms as giving it the power. So what do I mean when I say voice assistants, a voice platform? I'm just talking about Alexa. I'm just talking about Google Assistant or Bixby if they come out, and some of these other voice platforms. That's what I'm talking about. They give it power. So the power is really great that you can just ask Alexa to play a song and she plays a song. Or basically you want to turn off a light, you just turn off a light. Well, what about getting data? What is the use case, for customer feedback with voice? It's maybe surveys. Let's think about how we can do surveys. So one thing that Paul and I found out, we came across this stat, when we were working on this, is actually 100 million survey questions are answered every single day. Every day. Now that's across the entire world, and it's under every platform and so forth, but it's a lot of questions. So how is this being done? We showed you the slide with the tablets and then the desktops and the mobile. That's the device, but what are the services? So everybody's heard of SurveyMonkey. You guys ever heard of? Okay, and you probably even used SurveyMonkey. So what we like to do is kind of use SurveyMonkey as the comparison here, okay, because everybody gets it. I get SurveyMonkey. You go in there, you create a survey, and then you send a link, and somebody gets the link, and they take the survey on their computer or on their phone, and they get the data, okay? So that's what we're talking about, and there's others out there, Google Forms, Survey Gizmo, Zoho, Qualtrics, Typeform, it goes on and on and on. So this is kind of the world. So these are some funny cartoons. Please rate your satisfaction with all the customer satisfaction surveys we keep sending you. Yeah, that was kind of funny once we want to put that up there. Ma'am, I'm going to need to see proof that you completed our customer satisfaction survey. They're everywhere. I mean, we all know that. It's all good. And so Paul and I were looking at, okay, specifically within surveys, let's get some sort of use case in that to say, well, let's duplicate that by voice. So you guys are familiar with these receipts that you get from a restaurant, and in a lot of them they say, please go to redlobstersurvey.com or surveythis surveythat.com and fill out our survey. Now, is that easy to do? No, of course. I mean, we only got so much time here. I don't need to explain it to you, but it's a tough thing to go in and take these surveys with your phone, with your thumbs, and trying to go to the website, or go back to your house and load and go to your computer and so forth. So this is not really being done much at all to actually get the surveys or get the feedback by these companies. That one was actually a gas pump that I saw, and I snapped a picture of it. Would you take a survey about the gas station or whatever. So how likely are you to take this survey? That's kind of what we're saying. Not likely, of course. So that's a tough thing to do. So surveys are a nuisance. Surveys are inconvenient. We've been talking about that. But what if surveys could be easy or easier? They're never going to be just so easy, but let's say they're easy and actually fun. I mean, could that be possible to make a survey fun? And then our big thing is really we want to be engaging. I mean, we've got voice, we've got the voice platforms, a voice assistant. Let's actually engage the users, and that really helps us to gather the data, and it's a great experience. So we think we should do that by voice. Okay, so you get where we're going to. We have these IVR sync, that's history, but now we have Amazon Alexa, we have Google Assistant, and we want to utilize these voice platforms and get data, get feedback, get surveys, and so forth, or just create an experience. It doesn't have to be a survey. So we see this is where the world is going, and I'm not going to stay on this slide too long because you guys get it. That's why you're all here. But this is where the world is going. Speaking to smart devices in your car, talking to your voice assistant, talking to it with your phone. Obviously, people are getting Bluetooth headsets like AirPods, and they're basically being able to do voice commands. And so that's the future. So what we want to do is say, well, let's actually show you an example of a voice survey that would be kind of like the equivalent of what you get the receipt. So this particular one, Paul's going to show you because he's got the device over here. So we actually did one for fast foods. Okay, because fast food was kind of what we're talking about with the receipts. So let's say you get the receipt from the fast food restaurant. McDonald's. We're going to use McDonald's as the example, and we're going to take a McDonald's survey using voice rather than having to go somewhere on your phone and so forth. So just think about that as Paul's doing it. He's either in the car driving home from McDonald's, or maybe he's at home or whatever. And it doesn't have to be a fast food restaurant, but that's the example we gave. So he's got an Amazon Echo. You guys, everybody knows about Echo, and this is an Echo Show. You really can't see the screen because it's pointed to him, but you don't need to see the screen because voice is voice.
It has a good speaker, that's why.
But it has a good speaker on it. So Paul's going to just basically do a survey by voice.
Take it off mute, and fingers crossed, a lot of background noise. Alexa, start the McDonald's survey.
Hello. Thanks for visiting McDonald's today. We want to hear about your experience. This survey should take less than a minute, so let's get started. How often do you visit this McDonald's location?
Every day.
For the next few questions, rate your satisfaction on a scale of 1 to 5, where 5 is excellent. Rate the speed of your food delivery.
4.
Rate the quality of the food.
3.
Rate the friendliness of the McDonald's staff.
5.
Finally, yes or no, would you recommend this McDonald's to your friends and family?
Yes.
That's great. We're happy that you'll recommend us. Thanks again for stopping at McDonald's and taking our survey. Next time, try our new mushroom and Swiss signature burger.
So you guys heard that bit at the end where she asked if I enjoyed, or how my experience was, or was it a good experience? And I said yes. If I'd said no, she would have asked then.
What can I do to change?
Right, exactly. What feedback can you give us?
Yeah, so here's some of the advantages of a voice survey that we kind of came up with that you can kind of see from what Paul showed. So the first thing, and I think this is the biggest thing, is it really uses kind of a natural conversation to take the survey or get the feedback. And the biggest thing, of course, is it's hands-free. You don't have to touch a device. You just talk to it, and you have a natural conversation, hands-free, to do that. And it's a good experience for the person taking the survey. Uses real voice. Now, if you notice that after Paul said start the McDonald's survey, you did not hear Alexa's voice the entire time, ever. Okay, that's because we've got real voice. Okay, so we use a voice talent or a spokesperson. So if it's Progressive Insurance, they would use Flow because everybody's kind of used to Flow. So that's kind of really nice to be able to have that. Reinforces the branding. We're kind of making Paul say, start the McDonald's survey. So it reinforces the branding there, and in other ways in the interaction. Allows for custom responses, and that's what Paul was saying. Would you recommend this McDonald's? Well, if he had said no, and we didn't show that example, but it would ask you, it would say, oh, well, tell us why and all that. Just like SurveyMonkey can go down one path or the other. Or you can actually say now, oh, that's great, and that's what we did there. So it's really nice to be able to do that conversationally. Sonic branding, you heard the whistle at the end. Obviously, you guys know about sonic branding and jingles and all that, but that's now available, obviously, by voice, which is really cool. Now, this one was not demonstrated at all in this survey, but we have available, because a lot of our users have asked us for this, and that is capturing contact information. So we can get mobile phone numbers and send them a text that way, because a lot of people have used the services where it says, text, Skyline to 333-888. It's kind of the same thing, but now we can now do it by voice. So you don't have to get your phone out at all, and you can do that exact same thing. Is you basically get that interaction, you get a text back, and then they get your phone number and all that. So that's all in the tool. So that's the advantages of voice. This is just a few advantages. These are the biggest for sure that we see in voice surveys. So what Paul and I wanted to do is have a self-service capability like SurveyMonkey, where you guys could basically create that survey, and that voice, we call them voice engagements, because a lot of our users are now actually not necessarily doing surveys, they're just doing voice engagements and surveys. So we built the surveys by voice, surveysbyvoice.com, which is the equivalent of like a SurveyMonkey, but it's for voice. Okay, so what happens is you basically go to surveysbyvoice.com, and it works like SurveyMonkey. So now, since we are in a good environment here, and it's not just PowerPoint because we're all here, we don't have to just show you the screenshot of the web app. Paul can click out of PowerPoint and go into Surveys by Voice and show you the interface for it. So this is a tag team, so I'm going to let Paul kind of walk you through this.
Yeah, so we just want to show you guys, so we built this platform that sort of automates the creation of these surveys and gives you a screen where you can just, set your questions, send it out, and it's instantly available. So if we look at the McDonald's one, this is the actual survey that was created in a couple minutes on our platform. And then the voice talent came in afterwards and recorded the actual audio that you heard. Because if we didn't have the audio clips, it would just be Alexa talking, right? So it would still work. It's not like you have to have real voice, but so we call this one the McDonald's survey. And then you set an introduction, well, you guys heard that at the beginning. And then there's different question types. So you guys heard the first one was a free form, how often do you visit? I think I said every day. And the next question types were ratings, right? So scale 1 to 5, scale 1 to 5, scale 1 to 5. And then the last one was finally yes or no, would you recommend this? And I think I said yes, but if I had said no, as I mentioned, you would actually get a different interaction. And I'll show you this. There's a little logic button here that just kind of shows how that goes. So since I said yes, this is the response that came back, and then it goes to the end of the survey. So if I had said no, this could be anything, but oh, we're sorry to hear that. That's too bad. Please tell us more. And then we don't skip because we want to get to that last question, which would be, please tell us why. And we kind of feel like for voice, that's one of the best question types, this free form, because I don't mind hitting, a smiley face or a star, but I don't want to type in, for 10 minutes on my phone some long response. So people skip those all the time.
Yeah, so we go to the results.
Yeah, I'm going to show them next. So we go to the results, and we have a lot of data in here because we use this to test or to show it off sometimes. But if I go to the bottom one, it should be the most recent one. So this was me.
The bottom. There.
Yeah, right here. This one. Yeah. You guys see it okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got the wall's got a little pattern there. So it came from an Alexa device. Now we don't know exactly who this person is, but there are ways to collect that as well with like a participant code. Maybe it's printed on the receipt or their phone number. Like Stuart was mentioning, we have a question type where they can put their mobile phone in, and you can even then text them directly from Alexa a message. That's the date and time. And then here's the question responses. And you'll notice the row before this was I think Stuart took this one yesterday, right, Stuart? And he said no to that question about would you recommend it. So he was able to give this
I wanted to test out how
response.
long I could talk and let it get my voice, because a lot of our users, our customers that are big corporates, they want to get that free form comment because everybody's abandoning these long things that, please tell us your experience, not going to do it. But if you can just talk to it, so I actually said all of that and it got all of that. And then these big companies like Qualtrics, they have text analytics tools that can analyze this data and so forth. So that's why there's a lot of interest, in this question type, like Paul said, is getting all that more qualitative data.
Yep, exactly.
So that comes in that way.
Yep. So, and then we could show, let's see. So we have this customer, I'm going to show you this as well. So we have a customer that's using this entire platform.
Go to the top of his website.
Yeah, I'll go to the top. So they're called Respond Fast. They do direct mail. So they send out direct mailers, and there's a call to action, as they call it. So it's something on the mailer that says, hey, say to your voice assistant, start Respond Fast.
And that's down there a little bit.
So I'll show you what that looks like. And we could actually test that out. So if you look at that, that's what comes in their mailer. They get something that says, my code is blah, blah, blah. So we can test that. Alexa, start Respond Fast.
Welcome to Respond Fast. Please say your phrase or code now.
Retire smart.
Thanks. We're here to help you retire confidently. To get started with your free retirement planner, just tell me your phone number and you'll get a text with the next step.
330-271-1987.
Okay, you're on your way to getting answers to your questions about retirement.
So I just got a text
Please
message.
check your phone for a message. Goodbye.
With a link to whatever they're trying to show me. So it kind of closes the loop on that whole interaction. So they now have my phone number. I got on their website, and you can kind of see from a marketing standpoint how that could be
and
used.
See, he isn't really even using it for surveys in the sense of survey line. He's just really using it for direct response. And he's actually, go to his label.
Yeah.
He's working with labels now to say, okay, put on your label, a voice interaction. So, he wants to get it on the Cheerios box, or on American Idol. So he's thinking really, really big, obviously, but you got to start somewhere. But he works in direct mail. He has a lot of clients that already has direct mail pieces for, but it's basically a voice call to action. It's a voice call to action. You're doing a call to action, but it's by voice. So if you get something and it says, oh, go to our website, or oh, call our 800 number. Well, the new way is just say whatever you want them to say. And then obviously they use our tool to have a conversation. Could be surveys, could be collecting any kind of information, or having a conversation. So yeah, so he's doing. So it's just a use case, to show you that this technology can be used in a lot of different ways, and we wanted to give it to people to use without having to write Alexa skills and Google Actions and write code. It's just you just go into it like SurveyMonkey and you create it, and it's good to go. So that's kind of the point. Yeah.
So if you're just doing a general survey, what instruction would you give them?
Yeah, now that's a good point. So right now, you can have them test it out by using the survey line skill, and you say open survey line and whatever you put in, but within a couple days, we'll submit it to Alexa and Google Assistant, and you can call it whatever you want. So let's say it's Thistle Farms. It would say launch Thistle Farms, or Thistle Farms feedback, or the paint store feedback. So you call it whatever you want, and that's kind of a skill or an action. But then you have to write on your call to action, this is how you need to start the voice survey. And it's just in quotes, Alexa, start blah. Just kind of like what Paul did when he said start the McDonald's survey. So it could be whatever you wanted it to be.
Always listen.
Yeah.
I hope this question isn't too elemental for
No.
for this group, but how does it integrate? How does Alexa integrate with Siri technology in the iSystem or whatever? Because
Right.
I can totally see wanting to do this in the car.
Right.
So if I'm connected to Apple
CarPlay, yeah.
Is Alexa just a separate app that I download?
Unfortunately, it is right now, and some people on CarPlay, they're trying to do like Google, so you say, okay, Google, but Siri doesn't have an app capability. You can't create a Siri app and just start it like Alexa and Google Assistant allows you to do. Now, that could change very easily. Apple could say, oh, we need to do this. But right now, Siri only has the built-in things that you can do that Apple allows you to do.
So, but you could put an Alexa app on
an iPhone.
mobile device
Yeah.
and access
Yeah, and
it
actually
that
Paul
way.
has that, and actually do it. Show her.
Sure, yeah. It's actually pretty nice. So
Do the McDonald's one,
I'll do
or whatever.
Progressive Insurance or something. We have several samples. So it looks like that. And you basically just have a button you push.
Open
Launch survey line. You guys can hear it.
Can't really hear it. 2 minutes.
To take, or say help.
Progressive Insurance. So it kind of looks like this.
Welcome to the Progressive Insurance.
So that's an iPhone. So it is doable.
So she's talking.
on an
It's
iPhone.
doable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How would you rate your satisfaction?
And the back and forth's all voice.
But you have to launch
Four.
the app first.
Yeah, and
You have to
so
launch the app
these are the
and-
kinds of things that we talked about this morning in the keynote. It's like they're going to be, this is so early days, but I think Apple's going to come out with their own, and you're going to have a Siri version. Hey Siri, start the McDonald's survey
Right.
instead of Alexa or Google, and it's good. It's going to happen.
I know. Everyone's waiting
Yeah,
for it.
so we want to build this platform that it's like it will work on Google and Alexa right now, but when Siri comes out with it, we'll say, oh, well, we'll get that working, and then now people can not have to program, and do that. So that's kind of our goal.
It'll be like, do this on Siri, do this on Alexa, do
Right.
this on...
Well, what we want it to be is we use the word launch, and Paul and I were talking a lot about this morning, but launch works on Alexa and Google Assistant. Now, will it work on Siri? Who knows? But if you say launch the McDonald's survey on either Google or Alexa, it'll work, because we want one phrase. Because wouldn't that be a pain? You got your website, which is just this long, but then you have, well, on Google you do this, and Alexa, it's not going to fly. So there's actually an industry association that's coming out for voice, and Bradley, he's the chair of that, and that's one of the big things is you want to get a consistent call to action, so voice can now be like, go to this website, everyone knows how to type in www.whatever.com, but they don't know how to do a voice interface other than just asking Alexa stuff and hoping that you get what you get. So yeah, Siri we hope will be launch, but launch works on both. So if you build something with survey line, surveys by voice, you can create it and give it a brand and call it launch and then whatever it is, and it'll just run. And you can tell all your customers or your audience just do launch and that, and it'll work. So survey line is not, you don't want survey line, that's a brand that you don't want to be, you just want to use your brand. So I think we're 2 minutes, so we got to wrap it up, but yeah. What's that? It's free to create surveys, and then if you do brand it and you get your own brand and we submit it for you, then there's just a nominal setup fee and then a monthly. But and the pricing's all out there, but you can create as many as you want for free.
For now,
real
you would say
voice.
launch survey line, and then you would say the name of your survey. But if you wanted a branded Progressive or McDonald's, then
And then there's cards here that has the website on there and shows you kind of how to get on there. So take a card, and then when you get back, if you want to create, you can create as many surveys as you want. It's free to just build them. Yeah.
So with the voice responses, some may be inaudible. Is there a way to collate the data so you can give them a call if you can't understand maybe some of their responses?
If you got their mobile phone number, you could do that, but that would be the only way. Yeah.
Is the voice, is the talent different, like super different price range from just having Alexa speak the survey?
We have a record button right in the app, so you can do it yourself, and there's no additional charge. Yeah.
you could always hire your own talent too, of course. Yep.
Be your own talent.
Yeah.
You have a nice voice.
Read it yourself.
Be your own
You got a great voice. Yeah. All right. I think we have wrap
Thanks,
up.
guys.
So everyone says we're going to the table at the end of the room.
I'll let you out of here.